This is Shao Master, a brand new video. Today we're talking about a what if series. I'm gonna start right now. So this is what if Deku had the powers of Bill Cipher. So this is what will happen. So I'm telling you the backstory first. How did Deku get the powers of Bill Cipher? So if you watch Gravity Falls of the series, at the end there's a statue. Now, Bill has the ability in the statue form. Every 50 years, he time travels to the future where Deku lives. So now, when when Deku was a little kid with Bakugo, and they're still friends though, and then Bakugo was bullying this one kid. He told him, "Well, I'm not gonna let you bully him though." And wait, never mind. So they were playing, they were kicking the ball a lot, the Bakugo kicked the ball, Deku didn't caught, so, it went into, the woods, because they were playing somewhere, in the woods area of the, playground. So then they find Bill's statue, where the statue is, though. And then, Bakugo dares Deku to touch the statue on the arm where it has him holding his hand, and then Deku does that though, and then Bakugo sees lightning's coming out of the statue, so Bakugo blows the thing up, because it's just old stone, so it breaks easily though. So then Bakugo says, well, it's time we have to go home though, and then they do. So a few years later, through their middle school at the end of the school year, the class asks, who's going to UA? And then Bakugo said, I'm going. Deku said, I'm going. Everyone starts laughing at him, though. And then, Bakugo, tells them, you guys shouldn't be laughing about him, though, because it really doesn't matter who does it anyway. I can't get in either way. I mean, none of you could get in either way, either. And stuff like that. So, that wasn't yet. And then, Deku tries out for UA, where all those, 0 point robot, wait, never mind, so Deku goes home. He gets attacked by the sludge villain, so then the sludge villain tried to steal his body. So when Deku's, knocked out, though, from, the sludge villain trying to get his body, though, he sees a triangle, golden triangle, like Bill. Now, he says, who the hell are you, and stuff like that. So then Bill says, well, I'm the guy who had that statue, that was, frozen statue. Wait, I remember you, you're that statue thing that shocked me, though. Yeah, how about this? I'll make a deal with you. You let me control your body, and I'll save you. And you get to use my powers anytime you want. And then Deku says, okay, so he shakes his hand, the blue flame on Bill's hand, though, and then Deku's eyes glow, yellow. He has a suit on in this image right now. His hat right here, all that stuff. So, he teleports out of the sludge villain, though. The sludge villain says, how the hell did you did that, though? And I said, well, one thing only. You should not mess with me. So he gets his finger like a gun, though. He charges up all that energy and then shoots at him. And then, he calls it the reality cannon. So then it shoots at the sludge villain, and then it turns up into a million pieces that are slapped over there. And then All Might says, I am here, and then he sees all those pieces of the sludge villain, and he says, hey kid, what the hell happened to the sludge villain? And then he would say, well, I took care of him. And he said, how the hell did you do that, though? And I said, and then he tried to say it, but then he told Bill, he told him is you know how like you could see him though, but you can't. The other people can't see him. And he told him you can't tell him about me, or I'm gonna take my powers away though. And then he says my quirk. And then Deku says, "Hey, can I get your autograph though?" And then he says, "Okay." And then he backs up the sludge villain a little pickle jar or like a little bigger pickle jar though. And then Deku grabs on All Might's not no he wouldn't grab on his leg. He would use his build power to fly and like catch up to All Might though. And then All Might said, "How the hell do you catch up to me though?" And he says, "My quirk though." So then the sludge villain gets out because when All Might put down the pickle jar full with the sludge villain, it breaks a little bit, like a little crack. So the sludge villain gets out. Like he gets out there slowly, sometimes nobody can notice him. Then he drips down the building, and then he gets Bakugo, and they don't notice yet until they hear explosions, and then Bill says, "Oh shit, that the sludge villain got out that sludge guy." And he says, "Well, should we take care of him?" And I said, "Okay." So then this one Bill gets a little bullshit around here. It says, "I'm gonna take control of your body for a while so I can defeat this guy." And he says, "Okay." He does that. But when the sludge villain is trying to get on Deku, he put a tracker on him because all for one Shigaraki told him to he put trackers inside of his sludge though, so each time he get on somebody though, he always tracks them. So that means then Shigaraki can like kidnap them and like steal their quirk, or he can turn them to the League of Villains. So then Bill doesn't even know this yet. He does know, but like he's not telling Deku. So then he goes into his Bill slash Deku form. This one right here again. He gets his finger like a gun again. But then he says, not this again. And then he gets Bakugo out there by teleporting him with the gun, with the finger like a gun though. And he shoots him and it teleports Bakugo out of there. So then Bill slash Deku he gets his hand, and then he like does it like when Frieza did the Krillin though. Actually, a bubble forms around the sludge villain. It's like in like a small orb though, and he says, Get me out of this hell though." And then he says, "Well, you should not mess with me." And then he actually puts him in like a marble, and like puts him in a little he gives him to All Might. He says, "Better keep that guy safe though." And then he teleports home. And then Izuku's mom said, "Oh, I thought you were scared and stuff, but like Bill's still controlled." And he said, Who the hell is this?" And he says, "My mom." And then he said, "Geez, your mom's fat as hell. Hey." And then then Bill lets Deku control again. Sometimes it doesn't seem really weird, but Bakugo knows Deku was quirkless, and he wants to figure out how the fuck did he get quirk though. And then this is how I change up from the canon. All Might figures out where does Deku live though, and then the next day, like in the afternoon, he knocks on Deku's door because it's Friday and now it's Saturday. So he knocks on Deku's house door though, and then Deku opens the door and he sees All Might though in his buff form. He says, "Can I speak with you in private?" And he says, "Okay." And he says, "Mom, I'm going somewhere with a hero." And she says, "Be safe though." And then they go to the beach, and then he talks in private and says, "How the hell did that though?" And then Bill shows up again, but like on top of All Might's hair though, you can't tell because he's in like a ghostly spectrum form. Nobody can see him except Deku. And then he says, "Remember, kid, I can take my powers back, and you won't have anything." And All Might says, "Well, I was looking for a successor, and then I want you to become my successor." He said, "Yes." Then All Might tells him to pick up all this, do all this trash. And when he did, he snaps his fingers, and all the garbage is immediately gone. And he says, "Where the hell did you put that garbage at?" I said, I put it in a pocket dimension, and like it's somewhere where nobody can touch it though. And he says, "That's amazing though." So then All Might would take his hair, pluck it out though, and tell Deku to eat it. And now Bill's controlled again though, because when he snaps his fingers, he's in his clothes again. So he takes the hair though, eats it, and he says, "That's your power. It's really weak." And All Might is surprised by the kid, and he says, "That's not weak. That's like all the power from like 8 different people." Well, it's really not that strong though. And then All Might says, Bill says, "How about this? Let's let fight though, like a little fight." So then they're starting fighting though. Bill's just like really just dodging all of All Might's attacks. He's mostly going to his he's becoming like where you know how like you can't touch a ghost, so he's doing that though, then punching him, then doing that again, and doing all that, and then All Might says, "Kid, you're really strong." And then he says, "Are you gonna apply for UA?" And then he says, "Yeah, I am." And then All For One says, "Well, you're gonna have to trade your quirk though." And then in the background, nobody knows, but Shigaraki actually has the tracker that was on Deku is actually now in his bloodstream, and it's like his neck area, and no, it won't hurt him because it's super small. So then, Shigaraki sees this, and then he really goes back to the League and say, "Oh guys, let's get this guy and kidnap him because he has a powerful quirk, and All For One can use it." And then so after the training's done with All Might and Deku, they go back home, and then a weird portal opens beneath their feet when they're in their room because they teleported there. They get teleported into the League of Villains area, and they see Shigaraki. Let's say Toga got recruited earlier, twice, and some others. So then they ask, "Kid, you want to join our League of Villains?" And then Bill gets control though. He teleports behind Shigaraki, kicks him in that chair, and the chair becomes like a big version of a hand though, like capturing him. And then he says, "Try that again, I'll kill you." And then he gets his finger like a gun again and tries to shoot it, but then Deku stops him, saying, "We can't kill villains." And then he says, "Screw off, Deku." So that means then Bill goes into his mind though. So like he could split his mind up though into two. He takes the one half of his mind to like puts him in a chain in his mind and says, "You're staying there though when I control your body for a while." And then Deku All Might asks the UA people to immediately let him in because he has a powerful quirk. They do that. He goes back home by teleporting back. And then he's still in the form of this. And then he goes to sleep. And in his dreams, Deku said that was in the part of the deal where we have to kill villains though and like kill people. And he says, "Well, I'm not gonna make a deal with a little child though." So he takes control of his body because he doesn't have one yet, because he's building up his power to open a rift to Weird Mageddon again. So that's mostly it. But then All Might goes back to his house again and says, "Kid, we need to talk a little bit again." So then All Might tells him, "Let's go to UA. So that means he gets an envelope full with UA things. So that means then it tells them like it gives earlier to everybody though. So then they tell every single student from the middle school that you guys are invited to try out for UA. They all do that. Bakugo sees Deku in the forum though, and he says, "Deku, how the fuck did you get a quirk though?" And he says he creates copies of two of them though, and they when Bakugo was trying to attack Deku slash Bill, like in this form, he copied himself though, and the copy grabbed Bakugo and said, "Well, you don't need to know that, you little bitch." And then everyone hears him, and then he smiles about it, and then the clone of Deku becomes like a puddle, and then it comes back to Deku, and then it gets back with him though, and then they say, "Well, you guys are gonna have to destroy all these robots," and then they tell him, and he said, "This is gonna be a piece of cake though." So then he does, and then it's time. So Bill is full control now of Deku's body. So then he obliterates mostly half of the robots. So he just gets his hand like a gun again, shoots in the air, and then it's like, if you've seen how Krillin did Scatter Bullet, it's like that, but like it targeted for like all the small robots, and Deku got so many points, like about 75 or higher. Let's just say 80 points, because he killed mostly 3s and 2s and 1s. And then the giant big robot comes, the 0-point robot, that gives you 0 points, but so he sprouts out arms because he's really fucking aggravated now because that kid's trying to take control back his body. And then he says, fuck it. So he gets his hand like a gun again. It charges up so big that this beam, if he even target the Earth, it would obliterate the Earth though. Like it would obliterate mostly half of the mostly this whole entire city though. And then he targets that 0-point robot and hears somebody help, and then he creates a clone of himself, about 7. So the first one, the original one, he's just staying there floating. And the second one is helping Uraraka, and the third one's helping Uraraka. Like, 3 of them are helping Uraraka. The fourth one has gone like a giant version of itself, and it's like grabbed the 0-point robot, and like it has actually threw it in the air, and then the giant Deku gets it like a gun again, and like fires it, and then it obliterates the robot, and everyone's surprised he can destroy that thing really easily. And then everyone's staring at the Dekus, and then Bakugo is saying, "Fuck, I'm getting outclassed." So then he gets really aggravated, so then he says, "Well, they really won't know. They really won't know if I punch Deku." So then the clones can... So one of the clones see this, though, because one of them are on the building, and they see this, so then one of the clones actually kick Bakugo when he was trying to attack the Deku in the air. So then he kicks Deku. So Bakugo's trying to beat up the Deku that's floating in the air. The Deku that's on the building, the 7th one? Yeah, the 7th one is trying to... He kicked him out of the air, and then everyone's surprised that kid kicked him out really fast, and then the clone says, "Well, you little bitch, you should have not did that." And then he smiles about it, and then he teleports back on the building. And then they say it's time, and then Uraraka is glad. So all the clones go back into the original Deku in the air, and then the original Deku falls on the ground. Not like fast, he just teleports on the ground. And then he says, "Well, but all day's work though," and then Uraraka says, "I'm thankful you saved me," and then he goes back home, all that stuff, but Bakugo's still mad, and he's still saying, how the fuck did that kid get a quirk? And then, says he has another friend, though, who has the ability to go in Bakugo's memories, and then he says, well, how about if he checks his childhood? And then he says, okay. And then the kid goes to Bakugo's mind, and he sees that statue Deku touched, and he said, wait, that fucking statue might give him the power. And he knows where the statue is, but you remember he destroyed it. And he said, fuck, if I touched that statue, I could get all that power. But then, Deku gets the envelope, and he gets the thing that lets him come to UA, and then All Might surprise, and he tells him he gets, 100 points, plus 50 points of the saving, the rescue points, because nobody knew about that, the rescue points. And then he gets, 50 points thanks to the rescue points, so he has about 150 points. And then he's so glad Bill slash Deku says, ugh, great, not this guy again. So fucking weak. So then, this is how I'm gonna leave it off of here, but if I missed anything, I'm still watching the series, so I'm not, fully 100% sure I'm okay with this. I might make another version of what if Deku did something, and that's it for this. Well, if this was super long, I'm sorry. It's my first time doing this, and I hope this is all good with you. Stay Shadow Masters.